The year is 30 million BC. We are standing in the Badlands of what will one day be North America. But there are no highways here, no cities, just an endless, brutal scrubland that smells of dust, dried sage, and the metallic tang of old blood. A predator has made a kill. A Daeodon, sleek, wolf-like, assassin tears into its prize. It thinks it has one. It thinks it is the king of this valley. But the ground begins to vibrate. A predator has made a kill. A Daeodon, sleek wolf-like, assassin tears into its prize. It thinks it has one. It thinks it is the king of this valley. But the ground begins to vibrate. The vibration turns into a rhythmic, thundering impact. The predator abandons its fresh kill, tails tucked, scrambling away in absolute terror. Why? Because the true owner of this land has arrived. A shadow stretches across the carcass. It is 8 feet tall. It smells of rot and infection. It possesses a skull 3 feet long, studded with bony warts and jaws that can snap a human femur like a dry twig. This is not a dinosaur. This is not a bear. It is an evolutionary nightmare, a walking tank, built for one purpose: total domination. You think you know what a pig looks like. Forget the farm. Meet the hell pig. And if you were here right now, you wouldn't just be prey. You'd be a snack. How did a scavenger become the most terrifying apex predator of the prehistoric world? Welcome to the world of the Entelodont. While popular culture is obsessed with T-Rex or the saber-toothed cat, paleontologists know the truth. The Oligocene and Miocene epochs were ruled by a creature that looks like it crawled out of a horror. Movie concept artists reject pile. Technically, these creatures are distant cousins to modern pigs, but even closer relatives to hippos and whales. But calling them pigs is like calling a tank a car. These animals were massive. The largest genus, Daeodon, stood nearly 6 feet, at the shoulder that is taller than a standard bison and weighed close to a ton. But it wasn't just their size that made them the Terminators of their day. It was their anatomy. Look at the legs. Modern pigs have short, stubby legs. Entelodonts were built like racehorses. Their lower leg bones were fused together, creating a structure designed for high-speed endurance running. They didn't waddle, they charged. Imagine a creature the size of a buffalo galloping at you with the speed of a horse. You cannot outrun it. You cannot hide from it. But the legs were just the delivery system, was the head. The skull of the Daeodon is one of the most frightening fossils you can see in a museum. It is enormous, up to 3 feet long. But notice those bizarre bony protrusions sticking out of the cheekbones and jaw. For years, scientists debated their purpose. Were they for digging? For storing fat? The leading theory today is far more violent. These warts were armor. Entelodonts were incredibly aggressive. They fought each other constantly for territory, mates, and food. We know this because many fossilized skulls act like crime scenes. They are riddled with healed puncture marks. One specimen found in North America has a bite mark right above the eye. The bite mark that matches the teeth of another Entelodont perfectly. This animal took a spike to the face and survived. And let's talk about that bite. The Entelodont had a jaw hinge set far back on the skull, allowing it to open its mouth to a horrifying 90-degree angle. This is a gape wide enough to fit a human torso inside. The teeth weren't just for slicing meat. They were a chaotic mix of serrated blades for shearing flesh and massive blunt premolars for shattering bone. Paleontologists estimate their bite force was strong enough to crush a bowling ball. They didn't pick the meat off the bone like a delicate cat. They ate the meat, the bone, the marrow, and anything else in their way. They were the trash compactors of the ancient world. So, how did this tall pig operate? Was it a hunter? A scavenger? The answer is yes. Entelodonts were the ultimate opportunists. In the harsh environment of prehistoric North America, relying solely on hunting is risky. You burn calories. Chasing prey, the Daeodon had a better strategy. Kleptoparasitism. Imagine you are a nimble predator. You've spent 3 hours tracking and killing a camel. You are exhausted. And then, the 8-foot beast arrives. It doesn't sneak up on you. It wants you to see it. It grunts, flashes those 3-inch canines, and charges. You have 2 choices. Stand your ground and be obliterated, or run and live to hunt another day. Most predators ran. This behavior made them the bullies of the ecosystem. They let other animals do the hard work, then used their size and intimidation factor to steal the reward. But don't think for a second they couldn't hunt fossil tracks. Show entelodonts, moving in zigzag patterns, suggesting they were sniffing out prey. With olfactory lobes, the smell center of the brain larger than most of their contemporaries. They could smell a wounded animal or a fresh carcass from miles away. If they found a nest of defenseless young, they ate them. If they found a sick animal, they ate it. They were a biological dead-end for empathy. They were hunger personified. To understand why the hell pig became so monstrous, we have to look at the world it lived in. The Eocene and Oligocene periods were times of chaos. The dense rainforests were dying, replaced by open plains. This change forced animals into the open. There was nowhere to hide. It was an evolutionary arms race. Prey animals got faster to escape across the plains. So, the predators had to adapt. The entelodont solution was brute force efficiency. They didn't need to be the fastest sprinter. They just needed to be fast enough and tough enough to survive anything. They were successful for nearly 20 million years. They spread across North America, Europe, and Asia. They were a global franchise of terror. In the agate fossil beds of Nebraska, you find their bones mixed with thousands of other animals who died in severe droughts. While other species perished from starvation, the entelodonts often lasted the longest. Why? Because when the plants died, they ate the plants. When the herbivores died, they ate the carrion. When the water dried up, they ate each other. They were the ultimate survivors. Until they weren't. Nothing rules forever. About 19 million years ago, the reign of the entelodonts came to a crashing halt. What could possibly kill a creature that eats bones and fights with its face? 2 things: a changing planet and a new challenger. As the Miocene epoch progressed, the climate shifted again. The land became even more open, turning into vast grasslands. The herbivores, the horses and camels, became even faster, evolving into long-distance runners. The entelodon, with its heavy tank-like build, started to struggle. It couldn't catch the new, turbocharged prey. And then came the invasion. From Asia, new kind of predator crossed the land bridge into North America. The Amphocean, or bear dogs, were just as big, but they were smarter, more agile, and likely hunted in packs. The solitary entelodont, relying on intimidation and brute strength, was suddenly outclassed. The bully had met a gang of professional soldiers, out for food, and unable to adapt to the changing landscape. The hell pigs slowly vanished. The ground stopped shaking. The roaring stopped. The 8-foot-tall pig that ruled. North America became nothing more than stone in the dirt. When we look at the skull of a Daeodon today, it's hard to believe this creature actually walked the earth. It seems like a monster. Designed by a special effects team, a creature too angry, too ugly, and too violent to be real. But they were real. For millions of years, they were the kings. They remind us that evolution isn't always about grace or beauty. Sometimes, nature rewards the ugly. Sometimes, nature rewards the brute. The Entelodonts prove that you don't need to be the smartest or the fastest to rule a continent. You just need to be the one thing that everything else is afraid of. Does the idea of a giant bone-crushing pig keep you up at night? Or do you think there's a prehistoric beast even scarier than the Daeodon? Let me know in the comments below. If you survived this video, make sure to smash that subscribe button and hit the bell. We're digging up new nightmares every week, and you don't want to be left behind in the dust. See you in the next era. ****.